Welcome to my December COVID vaccine update. This is going to be a really exciting month. I have news for you on all of the major COVID vaccine candidates, so please stay tuned. I'm Dr. Rachel Johns, an internal medicine doctor specializing in hospital-based medicine out of Southern California. December is going to be really exciting as far as COVID vaccines go. We're going to see several vaccines going from clinical trials to use in the general population. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on with approvals and distribution, and I'll keep you updated every step of the way. So please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of these important updates. First off is Pfizer. They have already applied to the FDA for their approval. The FDA is meeting on December 10th, so fingers crossed. So far in their clinical trial, 41-ish thousand participants have received their 2 doses of their vaccine, and they have had about 95% efficacy at preventing symptomatic cases of COVID. So as far as severe cases, they have had 9 cases in the placebo group and only 1 case in the vaccine group. So 1 severe case out of 20,000 people are really amazing numbers. They are measuring this about 7 days after the 2nd dose of the vaccine. Now, obviously, we would really like to see their efficacy rate after 4, 5, 6 months, a whole winter season. But with the number of cases spiking over the last month, we really can't wait any longer when we have a viable vaccine candidate in our hand and ready to go. Now, one of the major difficulties with Pfizer, the vaccine, is its distribution. It has to be kept super freezing cold, about -94 degrees. That's about the temperature in the South Pole on a winter day. Now, Pfizer has already come up with a solution. They have devised a special cooler that can be filled with dry ice for distribution and storage for about 2 weeks. And in fact, their first shipment did arrive in Chicago this morning via United Airlines from Brussels. So they're not waiting for the FDA approval to start distributing. Obviously, they can't vaccinate anybody until the FDA gives its approval, but what they want to do is get it out there and ready to go. So hopefully on December 10th, if the FDA says yes, they can start vaccinating people the very next day. Today, Moderna applied to the FDA, and they will be hearing their case on December 17th. In their trial, they had 30,000 clinical participants. They had 185 cases of symptomatic COVID, and they had 30 severe cases and unfortunately 1 death in the placebo group. In the vaccine group, they only had 11 cases of symptomatic COVID, and none of them were classified as severe. So again, really amazing numbers from these 2 mRNA vaccines. Both of these companies will be able to provide millions of doses by the end of this month, and probably between the 2 of them, about 2 billion in 2021. So again, really exciting. The FDA will be hearing about these 2 vaccines on December 10th and December 17th. So again, I'll keep you posted on both of those. Next is AstraZeneca with the University of Oxford and the Serum Institute of India. They are making their vaccine using an adenovirus base, which is a virus that causes the common cold. They have modified the virus so that it carries the COVID spike protein on the outside of its virus so that the human body can mount an immune response against that spike protein. So in their trial, they have found that their vaccine is both 62% and 90% effective. So which one is it? So interestingly, there was a manufacturing error with a subset of the patients in the UK. And what happened was that the machines only filled some of the vials half full. So some of the patients only got half the dose with their primer, their first dose of the vaccine. So we can give them all a hard time and say, oh my God, I can't believe you made a mistake. This is such an important, trial. But as we all know, sometimes mistakes happen and a lot of progress can be made from mistakes. We all know the famous story of how Post-its came to be. It was not meant to be, that adhesive was not meant to be used like that, but 3M just went with it. And AstraZeneca just went with this. So they took that subset of patients, instead of just throwing away all that data, they took a separate subset, made them a separate group. They went ahead and gave them the full dose for their booster shot, and that was the group that had the 90% effective rate. Now, the other patients in the trial from Brazil and the United States, they got the full dose for their primer and booster shot, and they showed a 62% effective rate. So we don't really know why that is. There's a hypothesis that giving a small dose for the first shot and a larger dose for the booster shot maybe mimics the natural progress of an infection better, because as you get infected and then the viral load picks up, that kind of mimics giving the smaller dose and then a bigger dose. You might get a better immune response out of that. Again, that's just a hypothesis. We don't really know, but that's what their best guess is. Now, 62% is still pretty decent. Historically, as vaccines go, the FDA had said that they would approve anything that's over 50%. And you might be saying, well, why should I take that vaccine? I want the 90% effective one, right? We want the best. But they're not measuring it exactly the same as Moderna and Pfizer have done. Moderna and Pfizer have measured only the symptomatic COVID cases, whereas AstraZeneca swabbed everybody that was taking their vaccine, and they have identified a lot of asymptomatic cases that were not identified in the other trials. So that's why their numbers are a little bit different. They're not exactly the same measurement. And we know that asymptomatic cases are still important and can still spread disease. So that's a good number to know. The AstraZeneca vaccine is still a 2-dose vaccine. They are going to start vaccinating frontline staff in the UK and the general population in India later this month. Novavax is the next vaccine maker who has a phase 3 clinical trial that started in late September. They are using nanotechnology for their vaccine. Again, like the mRNA vaccines, this has not been used for a vaccine before. Rumors have it that they might be the best in class, maybe beating out even Pfizer and Moderna, but officially we don't have any preliminary results from their clinical trial yet. The interesting thing about Novavax is they are planning on doing a combination COVID flu vaccine, so that will be really useful in flu seasons to come. Johnson & Johnson's COVID vaccine, also an adenovirus base, they started their phase 3 clinical trials in late September as well. They haven't released any efficacy results as of yet, like the others, but they have been monitoring the antibody response and have stated that their patients 98% of their patients have developed neutralizing antibodies to their COVID vaccine. Johnson & Johnson is the only vaccine out there that has a single dose regimen. They are starting a new trial also with a 2-dose regimen like the others, and again, we'll wait to see what those clinical trials show. So those are the updates I have for you today on the major vaccine candidates. I hope you found the information useful. Again, December is going to be a really amazing month with a lot of news coming out, so please stay tuned. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of these important updates, and I'll see you in the next video.